Going on, everybody? My name's Tim. All the guys that are on the groups probably have seen a lot of me lately here, posting pictures of my lights, my Whisker Stix. Instead of just taking pictures, I thought today maybe I'd do a little video, since yesterday I said my solid colors are finished, and then I said within the next day or two I would get my two-tones finalized, and I have. So I thought I would show off my lights today in real time and let you guys see what they look like on camera. And I've also got 3 new lights that I haven't even shown photos of yet that I'm going to be releasing to try out. So a little bit about these. I've played around making lights for a while now, for the past few months, and been toying with things, trying, see if they do good or don't do good, if they light up good, if they don't light up good, and I've come up with a pretty nice little system to assemble these. And they're a little bit different than what you're used to seeing in a typical LED float light. Not something you've probably ever seen before, hence from the pictures I've got a lot of feedback on. They're a little bit thicker. They're 3/8 of an inch thick. They are maybe a tad shorter than what people are used to using when they go buy them from other makers, or even just at Pay Lakes or whatever. But I'm confident that these will help a little bit in hanging up your leader when you cast out and it gets hung up and you got to keep bringing it in. And also it'll give you a little more room to go up and down on your float if you got more weight or less weight on it, however you like to put them on. And these, of course, got any other uses that you would want to use for a regular glow stick that you would get at Walmart if you want to put them in a jack-o'-lantern. I've had a woman who wanted some for her dog collar to check out to see where her dog is at night on the farm on her land. I had a gentleman want to use them for his bicycle spokes and his outerwear when he goes riding or jogging at night, so he's not hard to be seen, so he doesn't get hit by a car. I've had parents write me and ask them just to have for their kids so they can run around with them in the dark to play with. I've had a guy who wanted to use them to take to a rave and different parties and such. So there's plenty of uses for these things. Whatever you think you could use a glow stick for, these things are bright enough and they last long enough to where you could just use your imagination. These things ain't just for fishing, but that's what got me into it. Was I, like you, like to do lots of catfishing and paylaking, especially at night, and these obviously help you see. So I'm going to get started here and show you the first one. If the camera moves a little bit, I'm sorry. This is a new color that I shown a few days ago. It was suggested by Danny Cross. He asked for it for one of the kids he knows. And this is a fire orange. He asked me if I could come up with an orange, and since my whole spiel ever since I started making these was trying to come up with custom colors, this is one of them. A lot of guys, well, you can only really buy so many colors of bulbs, and the ones that are really, really rare, like teals and aquas, they're a lot more expensive, and they're almost not even worth paying the money for. So I've come up with this system where I can mix and match bulbs with I call them filters, and they create these light ribs. So I can make pretty much almost any color that I can think of. There's some that I have made that I did not like because I just didn't feel that they were bright enough. But there's some that I'm still working on that I haven't decided on yet too. I'm wanting to make a royal purple that I haven't quite got down yet too. So that's the fire orange. Next one, this will look a little bit different. I just know it will because of the way the camera runs. This is Danger Red. the fire orange shows up so good because it's just a hair less bright than the rest in the set, but it's still bright enough to, it almost matches the brightness of a snap stick you get at Walmart. These are way brighter. You could probably throw this thing 200 yards out and still see it really, really easy. It's even putting a glare on the camera. If you look at my fingers, you can kind of see what the afterglow would be. And the light ribs here give you a sense of what the color would look like. It's just the camera. This is a solid red in person. It, I would say, matches almost the exact same color of Darth Vader's lightsaber. That's the kind of red this is. I wanted to call it Vader Red, but I don't think copyrights would allow that, so I came up with Danger Red. This next one is probably my personal favorite and the crowd favorite from what I've got feedback on, is Electric Blue. I almost called this Baby Blue because it does kind of resemble it, but this more to me looks like the Electric Blue 6000, again, in person. The brightness kind of doesn't do these justice on camera. This is Electric Blue. I got the idea when I was playing around with my old models that some of you bought. That was just a regular plain Jane clear tube with a bulb in it like most people make. And I found some light blue tubing that I played around with, and it made a baby blue. Some of you might remember when I first posted it, I actually sold those 5, the only 5 I had, to Joey Hill. And he seemed quite fond of them. He actually asked me if I could make a teal or a baby blue, and that's what gave me the idea. And that kind of led to all this. So that's the Electric Blue. This next one, for all the girls and sisters and grandmas and daughters, girlfriends, is the Pretty Pink. Sometimes when I'm taking photos of this, it looks more purple. This is actually almost like a bright pink lipstick, if any females out there can reference. It's like a neon pink. And see if I can get an afterglow on my fingers here. The camera just doesn't do these justice. That's Pretty Pink. It's not the typical pink that you probably see that you bought in the past. None of these colors that I am trying to achieve should mimic any of the other colors that anybody else sells. My goal is to have something different. I want to be the extra option, something that nobody else has done. I'm always trying to advance it, and it's gonna continue from here after this. This is not gonna be the final product. I'm always gonna try to re-engineer them. Always looking at new technology. I have some ideas for things that are gonna come if I can keep going with this in the next few years. It's just too expensive to do right now. But I've already got my eyes set on things in the future that are still up for grabs. So this next one is probably the second favorite that I've seen so far, is Hyper Green. Hyper Green is a brighter, more neon type green. Trying to think of something that would resemble that. Brighter than a green traffic light. It's more of a light neon green. I don't really know how much else to describe it. But it's not your typical green that you're used to seeing when you see it in person. These all look way so much sicker in person. I can't even tell you. The camera just don't do them good. The last one that's been seen, one of my more custom colors that's again different than what you probably used to seeing, is my Lightning Yellow. Now this yellow is more of, if I had to say what Pikachu's fur looks like on Pokemon, this is a bright, true yellow. I suckle the camera. It's the first set of yellows that I made on my old models. They look more orange. They had more of a yellow orange tint to them, like a traffic sign, like a road construction orange. And I really wasn't happy with it. I was like, this isn't yellow. I asked for yellow lights, and it ain't yellow. So I had to fix it. It was bugging the piss out of me. I'm OCD about stuff like that. Now these next three are the ones that have not been seen yet. My surprise colors that I've hinted to, just never showed photos of, is white, plain pure snow white. I'm sure I'll get lots of requests for these. It's about as pure of a white as you can get. All the solid colors that I make will have these light rib effects in them. The two tones will not. I can do it. It's just too much of a hassle, and I don't really see the purpose of it because it has its own unique effect. So the solids I'm going to keep with the ribs, and the two tones will not, which you'll see later. I made up some samples. The next surprise light will be slow changing rainbows. The rainbows I was on a fence about. I know there's a lot of differences in opinion on them from what I've experienced in person and heard other people mention when I'd go to Pay Lakes or talk to friends, other people who like to fish. Some people cannot stand these because it's annoying to look at. Is what some people think. Some people think they're really cool and they're unique and they know that's their float because it's constantly changing. Me, I don't prefer to use them myself just because my luck is I'll think that I have a blue light out there and I'll look up and it'll be blue and I'll yank it and miss it or something like that nature. I'll think it's supposed to be one color and it's not, and I'll think my float's gone, and in that it may be somebody else. And so in that respect, I don't use these, but I know a lot of people like them and I've had a lot of requests for them, so I got them. Right now I have 200 of these that will be available, and if they do good, I'll get more. If they don't, I might discontinue it or save it for maybe like a limited times special. Maybe do them every once in a great while. The third and final one, if I get the battery in the right way, is fast changing rainbow. Now this one's a little different. It's got a few different things. It strobes, random colors, and then it'll pulsate into different colors, almost like similar to a siren going off, and then it'll waves. So if sound could be light, this would be my equivalent to that annoying car alarm that goes off, your standard car alarm. But it'll pulse, and then it'll wave, and then it'll strobe, and then it just cycles through random colors. So I like how neat it looks, but I don't know. I personally can't see using the color changers. They just mess with my head too much. I haven't used them enough to get used to them. Between the reflections of street lights and stuff off the water at night, and the waves and rickling and flickering, that's just one more flickering light that's going to give me a headache. So maybe that ain't good of me to talk bad about my own lights, but that's just my personal opinion. Some people really like them, so I'm going to try it. I have 200 of those also. So 200 slows and 200 fast. Now we're going to get into the two tones. I got 4 samples to show. What they are. This one's pink and yellow. Again, the camera just doesn't do them good. It'll be a solid pink if you look along the sidewall. That'll give you an idea what the color will be. And it'll be like that all the way across. It looks It's almost like a piece of candy that lights up almost. I mean, if I had to call this a color, I would probably call it pink lemonade. I don't know if I'm going to name these colors or not, because what I plan to do with these is to mix and match them based on custom orders. So if somebody writes me and says, hey, give me 5 two-tones, I'll say, okay, well, what colors would you want? Give me 3 pink and blues. Okay, do you want the pink on top or the blue on top, or do you want to switch them up, 3 of one and 2 of the other? You know, so what I'm going to do is just, I'll leave these make to order. If somebody wants two-tones, I will have the colors that will be available will be pink, yellow, blue, green, and red for now. Until I see how the popularity is, I might add more. But you'll pick 2 of those colors, pink, green, blue, yellow, red, and tell me which color you want on top, which one you want on bottom, and I can make it happen. So that's the, I guess, pink lemonade. This next one is pink and green. Again, you can have the green on top or the green on bottom. Doesn't matter what order you want them on. I can do it. This is pink and green. Kind of hard to... The brightness just makes them all look white. There you go. You can see some of it. Green, pink. To me, this looks like watermelon. Next one. If I put the battery in the right way, will be blue and yellow. That one shows up kind of good. Blue and yellow. Again, these will all be marked positive, negative, so you know which side to put it in. My old models, I used to write the first initial of each color, so you didn't stare at a bunch of clear tubes and figure out which one's which. You knew what it was. This one, they're pretty idiot proof. Here's the hyper green without the light in it. Okay. The white, electric blue. So I mean, you'll know what color you're reaching for when you want it. Lightning yellow, pretty pink. They're all pretty much self-explanatory. So that's another cool thing about them, is you don't have to sit and flip through in the dark and guess which one's which. Put a battery and 5 lights before you get the color you want to feel like using different colors. We already did that one. No, here it is. The last example of the two tones. Blue and green. I kind of like this one. Don't know if I got a name I could think of for it yet. Maybe something ocean related. Ocean breeze. Don't know if I'm going to name the two-tone just because they're going to be so customizable. And there's so many combinations. I'd have to think up of, I don't know, 20, 30 different names. That'd be ridiculous. So we might just leave that as name your colors and I'll make it. So those are the colors I'm going to start with. Aside from the two tones, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 8 solid lights counting the 2 rainbows. So you got electric blue, hyper green, lightning yellow, pretty pink, danger red, fire orange, snow white, pure white. I don't know. So those are my lights right now. I would appreciate any feedback. I've always appreciated any feedback I've gotten so far as I go through this. I'm always envious of the guys who are way above me in the market. Jay West with Bright Sticks, Brenda Williams with L.e.d fish sticks. I've seen other ones on eBay and Facebook. There's a guy that makes glow-me's. I can't remember his name for the life of me. They're called glow-me's. And I've done a lot of research on this, and there are so many variations of things out there that you can get. There's ones that got batteries that stay internal, and you can twist the cap and they light up. But they're obviously a little more expensive. I'm trying to be the guy that is, I'm not trying to be on top. I'm not trying to outdo anybody. I just want to be the guy who's got some pretty sick different colors that if you want something other than what everybody else has, I'm a third option. I know that when you throw these solid colors out here, let me light this up again. I know that when you throw this out here, you're not going to see those ribs 100 yards out. I know it. Everybody knows it. But they look really neat. I just love the way they look. I'm more than happy to spend the extra time to make something that looks awesome. It's kind of got like a Tron look to it, like it's real high tech. I just like the way they look. I think they look slick. They in no way outperform any of the other lights. They might be a little brighter, they might not. I can't claim that because I haven't used everybody's lights. But I do know that they are sturdy. I do know that they last a long time. And I would recommend, if it's not something you already do, some people have asked me to try to figure out a way to get rid of the rust. I don't see that happening anytime in the near future. Solely because the more that you try to overdo something, the worse you can make it. Now, what I personally do, since I got more time on the camera here, is I'll take electrical tape and I will wrap all the way around this battery as tight as I can get it so it holds snug on these pins. And I recommend you to do that no matter what light you use from anybody you buy them off of. Either take a rubber band or however you want to fasten it, get those pins down tight. Slide the battery in. Sometimes if you push too hard, you can actually bend the pin some. Just tie that down really hard with some electrical tape and then attach it to your float or your rod handle or your rod holder or your rod tip, whatever you decide to put it on. I mean, these will go wherever you want them, obviously, but get those pins tied down good so they don't come loose. That way when your float hits the water, it doesn't rattle the battery and short it out. And when you're done fishing, take the battery out and then either blowing it with your mouth, or I like to use a can of compressed air and just blow the piss of the water out of that thing. The way I have these set in here, the base where the pin meets at the bottom down inside here, it's sealed up really, really good. So the only thing that's going to get water on it is the battery and the pins. So blow it out with air. Some people like to use lithium grease. I think that's just too much of a mess. I don't like to reach in and get grease all over my fingers when I'm trying to put a light on, because then it doesn't make your tape stick good. If you get the grease on your tape, it's not going to hold as good. So I recommend that. Just take a little can of a keyboard aerosol air can and put that little red nozzle in there and just spray the piss out of it. Get all the water out of there. And they won't rust as fast. They're eventually still going to rust no matter what you do. It's erosion. But that's what I do. And they have lasted me a lot longer. I've seen somewhere say these bulbs can last up to 100,000 hours, if not counting the rust issue. But the batteries themselves, depending on the bulb, depending on who you get the bulb from, where the manufacturer is, they can range anywhere from 40 to over 100 hours. I don't know what these are rated yet. I haven't sat there and tested it and ran an entire battery out because I've spent so much time engineering the actual light. But that's something I can do here in the future. But I would have to guess they would easily go 50 to 60 hours easy before they start to get too dim. And then when you're done, I mean, you just obviously just put a new battery in. So, I don't know if I'm allowed to say prices on the video, so I'll hold that for now. I can post that later, but they're still going to be fairly cheap. The only thing I'm waiting for right now is batteries. I have to order some more. The last batch I ordered ran out pretty quick. I have like 6 batteries left, so I've just been using those to mold the boots to make these. Somebody asked me also about using clips. The way I feel about clips, I know some guys like to use them. I have used them. It's neat that you can just slide it into a clip and not have to worry about it. My personal view on it when I'm making these is, for me, that's an extra part to buy. So to me, that's extra cost. So I would have to tack on a few more cents to it. And in my experience, they've rusted out faster than what just having the regular light pins are. They rust out faster because there's more metal. And in my experience also, where the pins from the bulb go into the clip, they're any flex that you put on that, it stresses out faster. So if it ever bends, you'll lose a connection sooner. And I think just doing it the old school way with the 2 pins is a more efficient thing right now. But it is still clearly an option. There's nothing wrong with the guys that use them. But that's pretty much what I've come up with so far. I am always open to suggestions. I'm always open to new color ideas. I'm all about making new cool colors that nobody's seen yet. I am in the works of trying to generate a chrome looking light or silver. I'm also looking at a royal purple. What else? A teal. A magenta. So there's always still options out there. The color prism's endless. Some look close to others. Some colors look very similar. But there's some colors that still stand out that I haven't produced yet, and I'm looking forward to trying to get them. So I want to thank all the guys who have sampled my lights, the prototypes. When they bought them off me, I threw a couple of them in to get some ideas out and get feedback on so I can make these. I'm trying to think of all the names off the top of my head. Joey Hill was one. Danny Cross has seen them and tried them. A few guys at my job. I cannot recall other names off the top of my head. I apologize for that. I'll add it in the comments later. But to all the people who have tried these, who have seen these, and gave me some input to help it make it better, I appreciate it. I'm always looking forward to more info, more feedback. I don't care if you tell me that you hate them. Tell me why. I don't care if you say you'll never buy them. That's totally fine with me. You're entitled to your opinion. Some people are brand dedicated. I've had a lot of people say, yeah, those look pretty cool, but I really like Jay's Bright Stix. That's fine. I love Jay's Bright Stix. He's got a very awesome thing going on. I could not imitate what he does. And he has got a really good thing going on between those and the hydro dip floats. Jay's awesome. I'll talk to him a few times, invite him to go out fishing with me at my job's lake. I'd love to hang out with him. I'll talk to other makers on here. I'm envious of the way everybody's got their own thing going on, and this just happens to be my unique thing. So I've got plenty of them. I don't know if it'll show there. That's just the one whole set right there. So I'm gonna start getting these batches going. I'm gonna do all the solids ahead of time so they'll be made ready, and the two tones I will have the materials made at the ready, but I'm not going to make them until somebody wants them so they can tell me what color combinations they want. And they will each come with a battery once I get them, and they will all be individually sealed in a little baggie. So if this is something you guys want, you're more welcome to hit me up. I'm open to contacting bait shops, pay lakes owners who might be interested in these. There was a guy who runs a website that was interested in these with me. He's wanting to check them out also. I'm wanting to turn this into a legit business, so any support that I could get would help it. I'm looking for a logo. I've got a couple guys who have contacted me interested in helping me generate a logo for the Whisker Stix. Um, I'm open to anything. Maybe we can work something out. I'm open to trying to get some other ideas going. I mentioned I've got some other technology I've been looking at. I pretty much got a rough draft of what it's going to be in my head, but it's just too costly right now. So we'll see how that goes in the future. But these are my lights. This is not going to be the end-all be-all finished product. I'm going to always constantly try to engineer these and make them good, make them better, make them brighter, make more colors, make them last longer, make them more durable to where you don't have to buy so many all the time. Some people like to use that as their niche to where say, hey, if they rust out really fast, they'll buy more. I believe in quality. I want to give you something that you could use 10 or more times before you have to throw it out, or even longer. Just hypothetically, I don't want you to have to use it for 2 or 3 trips and then throw it out because it's rusted too bad. So I'm looking at ways to always improve these, and if anybody's got any suggestions, I've already had a couple earlier in the day when I asked for some suggestions, and some of them I really liked, and some seemed not so efficient to me. So, wow, it got really dark. Not paying attention to my camera. Thanks for watching. If you sat through this whole half hour, I didn't realize I was going that long. If anybody's talked to me on Instant Messenger on here, they know that I'll just get to rambling and not knowing to shut up. But, let's see, get some light going here. Electric blue, Whisker Stix. Let me know what you guys think of them in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of in private messenger if you want to message me privately. They're pretty bright. So, I would love to hear from you guys. I'm going to try to have these out as soon as I get the batteries, and I can start bulk making a bunch of them, and whenever you guys want to get them, hit me up. Alright? Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate the feedback, appreciate the support, and I look forward to more of it. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks.